Hello, boys and girls, mostly boys. Welcome to another episode of Bruno's You Don't Have To, the short form podcast. Who have gotten roomed up with another weirdo, a punk rock, straight edge kid from Long Island. We got along really well. We attracted quite a crew of misfits. Part of that was we were badass, right? We all wanted tattoos. We wanted to be cool. So we looked in the yellow book, flipped to T, TA, TATT, you get the idea? And we settled on a tattoo shop, gave them a call, come on in. That was our introduction to the Hammerskin. That's slightly hyperbolic. We didn't know that they were Hammerskin at the time. They were just tattoo guys. Hung out at the shop a lot because it was cool to hang out at the shop a lot. They would stick needles wherever you asked them to. And got tattooed a lot too. We recognized that maybe they had a different value system than we did, but they didn't talk about it and we didn't talk about it. Fast forward 3 years, I found myself aligned with a motley crew of misfits. We had a house off campus. That house, we would have parties on Wednesday nights, and by having a party, you were actually engaging in a business that produced a very good revenue. At the time, we heard through the grapevine that a fraternity in town was very upset with us because they had parties on Wednesday nights and they wanted to come kick our ass, which is the logical thing to do when you are 18, 19, 20 years old and you're in a frat, which is why we were not in a frat. We were scared. We were worried about 30 frat boys coming over to our house and beating up the weird kids at 732 South Pershing. So we did what any logical, scared group of kids would do. We called up the tattoo shop. Bill answered. I said, Bill, we have this situation. Frat boys want to come over and kick our ass. Would you and some of your buddies want to come over and just kind of hang out? You guys would drink for free and just chill. He said yes. Looking back on that decision to contact the tattoo shop with a bit of time experience, it's like hiring a diabetic to guard a bakery. You knew they were going to sample the goods. It could have been a recipe for a really shitty donut. But at the time, there was just like 6 weird dudes who hung out together. We're just excited that we weren't going to get our asses kicked by a bunch of frat boys. For the party, Bill and 2 other guys that we knew from the shop showed up, along with 3 other guys who we'd never met before. We send them downstairs to the basement. The keg is. They're drinking, having a good time. Bill's friend pulls me aside. And he said, hey, Bri, just in case. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out this pistol that's like the size of the palm of his hand. It's like a double shooter. I looked at him. I'm like, dude, no guns, man. Oh, my God. What do we know? I remember being scared. I also remember about 30 seconds later, 25 frat boys walked down the steps of our basement with looks of aggression on their faces. The 5 skinheads turned around, looked at them, and the frat boys walked over to the keg and filled it up and hung out for 20 minutes, said thank you, and left. I always found people who lived outside the bounds of normal society to be interesting. I didn't agree with Bill thought or his buddies. I didn't agree with the hammer skin tattoos or the memorabilia, the propaganda you would see around every once in a while. It was also never a conversation. Bill never asked us our beliefs. We never asked him his. Maybe I would now because I'm a little bit more curious. Back then I also wanted to be cool and wanted to fit in. This all came to a dramatic conclusion. I worked for the local beer distributor the last year or 2 when I was in college. Think of me as the guy who hauled around the table hockey game and hung out with the hot models who wanted nothing to do with him. I remember Bill at one point had spoken to me about a buddy of his who died from an illness and they were going to hold a benefit for him. And he asked me if I could get a deal on some kegs for this party. So I said, yeah, sure. And I went ahead and got them 3 or 4 kegs. The next day, my boss, who was a really reasonable dude, called me into the office. He gave me the local paper. On the front page was a picture of one of our beer trucks and a delivery guy with the name of the distributor boldly printed on his back, delivering kegs of beer to what the headline described as the Hammerskin meeting. That didn't go over so well. He wanted to know why. I thought it was just 4 more kegs that we were going to sell for the month. I was trying to help our sales numbers. I don't think he believed me.